I want to refer to, the COP 28 in Dubai some months ago, right?
Yeah.
We continue to see or witness very ambitious, lofty goals about decarbonization. And I've been somewhat skeptical about the realism of the achievability of this carbon neutrality by 2050. It just seems a little too political as opposed to empirical. The declaration of goals and whatever, right? And I've been more optimistic about what the technologists are going to be doing as opposed to the policymakers, much less the politicians. Right? And I think a lot of what the technologists are doing are going to be dependent upon what academia is going to be doing, right? Because there's this very close intersection or interaction between the two domains. How realistic do you think carbon neutrality will be achieved by 2050?
I mean, that's a major undertaking. You're talking about taking a fundamental plank of civilization, and you're talking about changing it completely, all within the next couple of decades. And I think that's been part of the struggle. I mean, this is not something which doesn't. I always think, look, energy is one of those things that will touch everybody and everything. Okay, and because of that, changing something like that is going to be really difficult. People, you're talking about changing people to some extent, what they're used to, their habits, their conveniences, and then you're going to change it up on something they're not familiar with. And oh, by the way, it could be more expensive. It's a really heavy lift. And I think it's what we're seeing is because it touches everybody and everything is that you need to have everybody and everything involved in something that big, the government, industry, academics. And that's a really, really big undertaking. Which I think is part of the problem you're seeing with the struggle and why people are worried now. And there's a much bigger emphasis on carbon negative technologies, which is like, okay, we're probably not just going to get there by doing less or doing more efficient. We have to figure out ways to take the carbon out of the air. And so there's a big increase now in looking at that, which will, I think it underlies a concern that we'll probably not be able to meet our goals. We have to come up with other ways to actually take it back out of the air.
Is there enough momentum on carbon negative propositions?
Momentum from the standpoint of actual progress that shows that this will have an impact on the total CO2 in the world? Right now, I don't think so. But you have to start. And so I see that starting as a really encouraging sign. And I do feel like there's a lot of people that are worried about actually being able to do that. And the challenge is that, like as I said earlier, you actually need all the people involved, right? The government people, the industry people, the academia people, right? Because it touches everybody and everything. And getting these various organizations to collectively work together in one country, let alone across the world, that's really tough, really, really tough. And that's why I think the COP announcements has been an enormous vehicle for the publicity of where we need to go, the challenges, and getting alignment or at least some communication around this. Amazing, but it's again really only one of the vectors that needs to get us there. But if you didn't have that, let's look at the other case. If you didn't have that, it'd be much worse. Because you wouldn't have the publicity or focus and talking about the funding and all those other things. So it's really critical, but it's only one piece of where we need to go.